How are you guys doing?
Very good, yeah.
Very well. Thank you.
I really want to say a sincere thank you for coming in today, and also congratulations for being at Comic-Con in Hall H and exposing more of the world to what you guys are doing and the movie you're making. So I just have to ask: in India, is Comic-Con something that like people know about and talk about, or is it more an American thing?
I would say like my daughter, the next generation does know about Comic-Con. But generally speaking, after this, they will know because everybody is talking about it back home.
For sure. I think like the smaller towns and everything, this movie would reach there. So everyone's asking, what is this Comic-Con? Where are these guys
The
going?
smaller towns,
Yeah.
they're not aware, but it's a good expose for this kind of a collaboration.
Sure. I have to ask you because one of the things about Comic-Con is that everyone here likes to geek out over things, whether it be posters or collectibles or movies or TV, whatever it is. Very passionate fans. So can I ask, is there anything that you're really passionate about in terms of, like, do you collect something? Or if you get to walk the convention floor, would you be looking for a certain poster or comic book?
Yeah, collectibles are yet to happen in India in a big way, but I am a cinema buff, so for me, old posters are a very big thing. I have a little library of things which I have not enough walls to put it up, so I keep changing the posters. I'm very fond of posters, so I collect them.
If you manage to walk the floor, you will see a lot of them, and you might actually want to take something home.
Yeah, it looks beautiful on the floor, the number
Yeah.
of hoodies and merchandise and collectibles.
I always kept insisting to my producers that we should do merchandising. Because people do like to take things back. Even in weddings, when they go, they take back
We have
memorabilia.
This is like a thing we're giving out now, sir. So that's like
We should show it to the camera.
It's like a medallion sort of thing, and that's what is there in the movie.
Okay, and
Yeah. So this for you actually. You can keep it.
Oh my God, thank you.
So it's just something you can just keep on your desk and you'll remember.
Oh, I'm 100% keeping this. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's like a collectible coin or
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason I get to talk to you guys is you're obviously promoting your movie here at Comic-Con, and I'm just curious, what can you actually tell fans about it? What do you want people to know?
Well, just what is there in the teaser actually. It's just a small glimpse. It's not even the story because we still have about 6 months before the film comes out. And but it's a very new world for us in India because we've not done something in the sci-fi space. So like all the images and all the vehicles and the character looks, just the wideness of that world, they'll be very curious to see how it is, but not the story. So whatever's there in the teaser, we'd be sharing.
Well, one of the things, I did a lot of research before you guys came in, and listen, sci-fi is probably my favorite genre, and I'm very excited to see what you guys are cooking together, because I know the thing that I found fascinating, and tell me if I'm wrong, is that what you'll do when you're filming is you'll shoot for like 8-9 days, and then take a break to get things together, and then shoot more, or am I wrong about this?
it depends. If it's a complicated technical issue, we might have to take that break for logistical reasons. Otherwise, I come from an industry called Malayalam film industry. It's a small industry, so it is one long distance run, beginning to end. We have to finish shooting in 3 weeks.
Like,
Movies.
Yeah, like 22 days they finished like a full feature
22
film.
days
Back
or
in the day, yeah.
23 days max, and we'll have to finish the film. So everybody is geared for that. So it sometimes exceeds 12 hours of work.
But yeah, nowadays I think it is taking
Yeah, now
longer.
it's taking longer, but
More
I come
action.
from that school.
Totally, yeah.
So we have larger lungs, perhaps. So he'll run for longer.
Well, but I read that you guys were you were building vehicles and you're building things. You're creating essentially a new world. So what can you sort of say about that? And because I find that fascinating, and I'm very interested in new worlds and new ideas. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's very exciting for me to be able, because I love sci-fi and I love even all of the Star Wars. I grew up with Star Wars a lot. So, and I love Indian mythology. We grew up with Mahabharata and a lot of stories from our mythology. And these two loves, I didn't know. I always felt it would be great if we could put them together somehow, and somehow the story happened. And because there was something in the story, the actors happened, and now we're here talking to you. And it's, yeah, we're building this whole new world, which is very original because it's Indian in a sci-fi space. So it's the first experiment. I hope, yeah, we did justice.
Listen, I'm all in on this. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. One of the things that I'm so curious about is, were there any films besides Star Wars, like, did you look at a Blade Runner, for example, and the spinner in Blade Runner and say, I like that, but I want to do this?
Yeah, I mean, Blade Runner, I think I discovered more recently, but even Total Recall was one of our favorite sci-fi.
For me, it started with even Android's Dream of Electric Sheep,
yeah.
the book. So I like that kind of science fiction where you're able to correlate with your own thoughts of what future would be. So I like that. And what he is attempting to do, the reason why I'm happily part of this project is that we have a great mythological thread running through for thousands of years. So if you hit the correct symbols, people will understand the storyline and which direction it's going. They have iconic characters in Mahabharata, Ramayana, and you just have to give a hint of it, and they'll almost know what would be the next scene. So you can cut to the chase quickly.
Can I ask you, what can you tease about the character you're playing?
That he has to say. That I don't know how much to reveal. I know too much.
Right, I think you probably do. What can you tease?
I think everyone's waiting to see Sir in this role, and what it's going to be like in this film, and why he agreed to do it, and why we wanted Sir to do it. So I think I'd like to leave the surprise.
Sure. I listen, my job, and people know that about me, is I'm always digging as far as I can without getting to spoilers. I'm always looking for what can you tease. You know what I mean? Well, let me ask you this. I read, and again, please correct me if I'm wrong, but as you're filming in 2 different languages? Or am I wrong about this?
I mean, not all the scenes actually, but we started off doing it in a way that we know that some scenes are definitely going to be more impactful if we also shoot it in Hindi. So we are shooting in 2 languages, but for the most part, it's a Telugu film.
And it's a country with 5 strong industries with a large demography of audience. So it will be wiser to reach out to all of them. It's like you have a single language called English, which could cross continents. But within a subcontinent called India, we have 22 languages. So it's quite a complicated communication process. So.
Believe me, I know, I've heard all about it. I'm curious, what is it like I'm going to ask you this question. I know you're rather well known in India. What is it like for you to be here in America and at Comic-Con? Can you be a little anonymous, or is it still you're screwed?
No, if it depends on the people. If there are many Indians, they'll recognize me. But all American, then I'm happy to be one among the crowd and be a cinema buff and collector like everybody else.
Sure. What is it like in India right now with you guys making this movie? Because it is one of the biggest budgeted India-produced movies that's ever been done. So do you find that there is an awful lot of interest in the film while you're filming?
Yeah, for sure. Because, I mean, I think definitely one of the biggest reasons is the star cast also. Because they don't know what the film is about. They just know that it's an attempt at sci-fi, and it has 4 of the biggest stars who have agreed on the script. So they're very curious, definitely. And we've released a couple of posters that just teases the tone of the film, but it's just like hands, like so it's not much. But still, people are very excited just looking at that.
Well, what's interesting is, and I don't know if you know this, but Studio Ghibli just released their movie. Miyazaki released his new movie in Japan, and on opening day, they had not released a trailer, any images, anything. Just it's the new Miyazaki movie, and people went in not knowing anything. And I found that amazing because so many trailers give away so much. So, are you thinking about already, like, how much do we want to hold back when the marketing does begin? You know what I mean?
I think we also are in a place where people want to know what they're getting into, like especially in the bigger, like commercial space, like when you make big budgeted films, like you want a bigger audience to know exactly what they're coming for. So that's why the trailers are sort of, they tell you a lot.
Sure.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that works for movies like this.
There are quite a few big names in the film, but all big names have the humility to understand it's not the brand, but it's the content that's going to work. So we are all looking forward to that. And about my participation, nobody believed that I'm a part of this project. As a matter of fact, yesterday, there's a funny thing is, the protagonist of this film, Mr. Prabhas, just held my hand and said, "Thank you." I said, "Well, I wouldn't believe it till today that you're part of it, because I'm still wondering how they got you in."
Well, but I am curious. You wrote the script, and when you were writing, were you thinking about certain actors as you wrote? Because in America, generally, all the writers I speak to say you never try to think of someone in a role because you'll just get disappointed when they say no.
Right. But also, I had like a image of the characters, and only after I finished a few drafts did I start imagining people in the role. But yeah.
That's about the best way to go, because a character looms larger than an actor, and then the actor fits in. And it doesn't matter if one says no, there'll always be another. I'm a writer also, apart from being.
Sure.
So I take pride in creating rather than be part of just a big canvas.
Do you guys envision this could be the start of, because in America, one of the things when they make big budget movies is they're always thinking about how can we do a spin-off or what's the sequel. They're thinking long term because of the investment. And I'm curious with this, were you thinking about this as just a single story, or do you think this is something that could, branch into sequels or other media?
Well, I definitely started wanting to create the world. So, like, whether it's maybe more than sequels, it's also just the characters in the film, the locations or the vehicles that we create. I always thought like we could make like an animated show out of that. We could have like cars or trucks from our designs. We could have figures, and I thought that kind of world this movie allows. So, yeah. Yeah, but spin-offs and all, it's just only this movie right now that I'm thinking about.
This is my last thing for you because you need to go promote your movie at Comic-Con. What do you think would surprise people to learn about making movies in India that maybe they wouldn't know in America?
From what I can say, we started off as a very small industry, in the sense we were making the largest number of films in the world, yet we were not geared, we didn't have the grouted framework to do all that, but we managed. So I think the greatest quality that I find after having worked a bit with the Hollywood technicians, that Indians are great chaos managers. They thrive in chaos and coagulate a film together, which is fantastic. And some of my American technicians are astounded by it, and they're too scared to imitate it because so much money is at stake here. But there are certain things that even Hollywood does, where you come and improvise on the set. Certain things which have been planned for months together, and you make that last minute tweak. Even Mr. Spielberg had done that in Temple of Doom, where there was a big fight sequence and the protagonist, the hero of the film, was unwell.
Yep.
And he was so tired, he said, "Why do I have to fight?" He pulled out a gun and shot, and Mr. Spielberg, it seems, cocked his head and said, "Do it, and we'll wrap it with today instead of 4 days of shooting." That's an on-the-spot decision. That's what India is very, very capable of doing. And most of the best sequences in films have happened on the set sometimes, where it's a collaboration of technicians, directors, but it's teetering on the edge. Things could go wrong. So it is rope walking. That's why probably when you have bigger investments, you'll have to plan hard.
No, for sure. I'm going to stop you there because I know you have to go to your panel, and I can feel the evil eyes. So I'm just going to say I'm really looking forward to seeing the final film, and I hope to talk to you again once I've seen it. Have a fantastic con.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.